It's champion review time, guys, and we already know this is gonna be a fucking long episode, so we're gonna fucking just go.
Let's get right into it.
We're gonna go over the Q&A from last week with the Morgana and Yi episode, and we asked, what is your favorite Morgana skin? And Nathan wrote in and said, gotta be Coven. It fits her so well, and the alt looks so good. I agree. I'm sad Kale's new skin isn't legendary, as it's in the same universe as Kale, as I'm assuming they meant Morgana, and could have some cool interaction with Morgana. I was literally just talking to you about this.
We were talking about this like about 10 minutes before we started recording.
I don't know why they're giving Sivir a legendary.
Yeah, with all the problems it's having.
Right. It's the Sivir legendary is just yikes, dude. And
yeah.
I've even seen people, Sivir mains, that are talking about like, man, this is a letdown. So
there's Sivir mains right now?
Apparently. All three of them.
Yikes. Yeah, all three of them. That's right.
Poll of the week. If you're a Sivir main, are you a Sivir main? Just kidding.
Okay.
And then Rayan also wrote in, said, this isn't fair. I love all her skins, and I can't just pick one. I'll go with Bewitching, Dawnbringer, and Majestic Empress. Morgana's got some good skins. I know we talked about that.
Yeah, between Dawnbreaker, Majestic Empress, and Coven, those three by themselves, and those are her newest ones, they're fucking fire. Absolutely fire. And
our poll from last week is pretty one-sided. It was, what skill area do you classify Morgana to be in? 91% said average, so some skill, you're going to have to play a couple games. You're going to have to learn how to predict people's movements to land that binding. And then 9% said entry. Which, I mean, I guess she could still be entry.
She's somewhere in the middle there. I think she's leans most on average. I mean, nobody said above average, so
sure,
that's fair. I think it's pretty accurate. But
right.
yeah, I think that's all we had from last week.
Oh man, brace yourselves.
Brace yourselves. We're gonna start with Nunu because Nunu's a little bit simpler, although he did have major rework. I guess
both
somewhat
champions.
Recently.
Well, Ryze had like 4 major reworks.
Yes.
But this is the first time we've come across 2 champions that both have been overhauled.
Right. Well, it's funny because last week the 2 champions were so simple and really didn't have much of a difference, and this week we have massive, huge differences between the champion's previous version or versions in Ryze's case, and their current version. But let's start off here with it's Nunu and Willump now.
Right. That's something. It used to just be Nunu.
It was just Nunu. Willump was the name of the Yeti, kind of like Sejuani has
Bristle.
I don't know why I wanted to call her Borhilda. I knew that wasn't it, but
oh my God.
And she just said, Sejuani, you had just Nunu, but now you have Nunu and Willump. And Nunu and Willump occupy the same space that Nunu once occupied, if that makes sense. Still a jungler who's intent on counter jungling. In fact, I remember before they changed him to Nunu and Willump, they had that Skirmisher's Saber that was the counter jungling smite item, if you remember that when they first overhauled smite. And Nunu was like really fucking good with that. He still occupies that same space, but he definitely was given some engage that he didn't have before. And I think that's made him far more relevant than he was in the past.
So let's take a look. Let's compare his current passive with his old one. Now,
all right, well, hit me with the current one.
Right. So if he attacks a champion, a large monster, or structure, he grants bonus attack speed to the nearest ally with the highest attack speed. So it's it's pretty good, and it also deals. Wait, I didn't realize that it deals additional 30% AD. Second target.
Yeah, didn't know.
Oh, so he cleaves. He cleaves, right?
Okay.
So that's what it was. I didn't realize that was. I thought it was just an AOE, but it says additionally deals 30% AD. Interesting.
I didn't even actually know any of that, but I don't really play Nunu, so
sure. So very straightforward. Kind of. I mean, we'll get to his old W, but this is almost similar to his old W, where the Blood Boil, I think it was called, where it gave you an ally attack speed.
Yep. His old passive, I don't even really understand. Nunu's basic attack grants 1 stack of Visionary. At 5 Visionary stacks, Nunu's next ability has no mana cost and is improved by 1 rank. Nunu starts the game with 5 visionary stacks, also granted upon recalling or respawning. So I take that as he can cast an ability for no cost at the next level up, I guess is
That's
what that
interesting.
is, right?
See,
I didn't
I
even know that.
remembered it was the passive was like that. I had no idea. Like, if your Q was level 1, you
You
would
basically
get
cast
a
at
level 2
2.
Q.
Right. Yeah, I had
I did
no
not
idea
know
either.
that.
Yeah. Did not. Never knew that, but it's pretty simple. I guess it's
This
kind of
was
cool.
like the most generic Riot passive you could
Yeah.
think of. Where it's like, oh, after 5 attacks, it's a free ability.
That reminds me of the Lysandra free ability.
Right. Like, oh man, I'm glad
Yeah.
it needed to go.
Yeah. But all right, that's a pretty straightforward piece. What about the Q consume? I know the name remains the same, and the
Yeah,
icon is
I
pretty
think
similar.
it's overall the same. So he can consume minions and monsters, he deals true damage to them, and he heals himself. But I think the biggest difference is he can use it on champions. Prior, his old one, he could not
Right.
use it on champions.
Right. And actually, I'm just seeing a little caveat. It says, against minions and monsters deals true damage. Additionally, if consume would kill the target minion or small medium monster, target is stunned and pulled towards him over the cast time. Why is that even
Wait.
included? Who cares? That's just the animation. That doesn't... Yeah. All right.
Interesting.
Yeah, his old consume,
It did a lot more damage.
it did a lot more damage. It actually had a pretty big difference, if I remember correctly, when he consumed certain jungle monsters. I think that was dependent on the jungle monster, if I'm correct. Or was that just the jungle monsters themselves? That might have been just the jungle monsters themselves.
Well, it says consuming a large or epic monster grants Nunu a stack of well-fed for a duration, which cannot happen. Well-fed gains for 60 seconds.
Yeah,
During that time, he gets 2% max health, bonus magic damage on basic attack. Holy shit, this was overloaded.
Yeah, I had no idea.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, I guess you would consume a large monster and then try to run into fight or run into battle or whatever. Like, it made him really good with dragons because he already has like such a great smite counter just with the consume and the consume smite or the smite consume or whatever,
Oh,
and then you can turn around and fight
5 times.
Jeez.
Wow,
Jeez.
that's actually insane.
Little note here: the only champion consume can be used on was Zac during his cell division. That's interesting.
Right, I remember that.
And it could be used on certain pets like the turrets from Heimer and the Jack in the Box. Interesting.
I'm assuming you can do it on Tibbers or like Daisy?
It just said certain pets, so maybe not.
That'd be kinda
Interesting.
weird.
I
That's
did
weird.
some things I didn't know about that, but I didn't play a whole lot of Nunu back in the day. But the W, his current W, the biggest snowball ever. This is like the bread and butter skill. Like consume for sure is like the clear skill, right? That's the one. It's gonna help you with your clear speed and in your battle. But this is biggest snowball is his movement speed, his CC,
Just engage. Like
massive.
overall
It
engage.
actually does massive damage. Yeah, if you build AP, it does a dumbass amount of damage depending on how big the ball is. Pretty interesting. I mean, I don't think we need to go over everything, but it definitely knocks you up and stuns you when you get hit by it. And he starts running really fast as the snowball gets bigger. He runs faster. I think at a certain size, it no longer gets stopped by minions. But I think if it's smaller, does it get stopped by minions or something like that?
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Super cool though. It does. Interesting note though. The recast does proc Spellblade, so if you're using like a Sheen or anything like that, and it also procs, as a side note, an extra spell cast for Cassidon's Force Pulse, his sweep.
Okay.
So nice to know. As Dean mentioned earlier, and I don't think this is too much to go over, Blood Boil is basically a part of his newer passive. You would target an ally or yourself. I think if you targeted yourself, it would grab the nearest ally in range.
Yeah.
To give you bonus attack speed, bonus AP, and movement speed. And yeah, it was really a support thing because Nunu, by himself, is not and was never a 1v1 skirmisher, if that makes sense.
No, I mean, when we get to his E, you're gonna find out what he would just do. But
Yep.
that's wow. I didn't realize. I don't remember. God, I don't remember. Nunu's what, like 3, 4
He might
years
be. Yeah, I don't
from
even remember when he
reworked.
got
I
changed,
don't
but
remember it giving AP.
I slightly remember that. It it,
Mm,
it was kind of like a an ardent sensor in a way. That's kind of what that skill was. At least
right.
for me, the way I saw it, it was ardent sensor or like a staff of flowing water. Probably maybe closer to a staff of flowing water these days. But yeah, I mean, not much else to say there. It just was a support uh, ability, and then you could use it on minions and pets. That was another little caveat that a lot of people didn't know. So if you had a little banner or command action, and then drop that on the banner cannon minion that's got Baron, and while it's attacking the turret, you could just blood boil it. I mean, it's pretty gross. But what do we got on his new E? And then we'll go over his old E, because they're similar but definitely different for sure.
I want to start with his old E because I remember just it was a point and click spell. Guys, this had 90% AP scaling up to a 65% slow. You just run up, E, and then run away. Use Blood Boil, you get the extra AP.
That's how people used to play support Nunu. Just
Just
run
run up,
up,
E, and then run
E.
away.
It was actually the most annoying thing to go against as a support player. Like, what do you even do to that? There's nothing you can do when he slows you.
I didn't realize it lowered attack speed.
Oh, I didn't notice that either. Yeah, it's
It's just
got that
cripple.
crippling. Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. I did not know that. Damn.
And it's funny too when you click on the details. There are no details. This skill is as basic as it gets.
Right. It was. I mean, again, this was a very basic, like early. When did
Yeah,
you? Oh, I mean, Nunu
he's
was one of the
original.
originals, so
Yep.
it's like that was a Riot special. Oh, we're just gonna point and click and do damage.
His current E, Snowball Barrage, certainly different. And even I don't play Nunu that much, but understanding how it works is extremely important to playing Nunu well. So it's got an active and a recast on it. But the active is you're throwing snowballs at an enemy. I think it's 3 snowballs at a target direction. So it's kind of a skill shot. You have to aim it. Over 0.4 seconds at each shatter upon hitting the enemy, dealing magic damage to enemies in a cone. Enemies hit 3 times are slowed for 1 second. Champions and large monsters hit once are marked snowbound for 4 seconds, refreshing on each hit. Snowball Barrage can be recast twice within 3 seconds at no additional cost, with a cooldown in between casts. So it's a spam skill. You activate it pretty much, and then you can cast it a couple more times. It helps you stay in range of your target and deal a little bit of damage. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage. It's really
Something to
minimal.
note is you do not have to spam your E. You hit E once for 3.
Yes.
You just
Yes.
click because I used to do that. I'd be like spamming my E. No, you just gotta click E. He'll throw 3 snowballs. Wait a second.
Yep.
Hit E. Throws 3. Yeah, exactly. Like that's something to know, so you don't fucking give yourself carpal tunnels.
Right, right. On the recast, Nunu hurls another volley of snowballs, mimicking the first cast's effects. Any enemy may only be slowed once for being hit by snowballs. After 3 seconds from the first cast, snowbound enemies near Willump take magic damage and are rooted for half to 1/2 seconds based on level. So when they say that are near him, he's got a little circle around him that goes as far as that the snowballs do. So it kind of gives you an idea how far the snowballs will go. That'll also tell you who's going to be rooted. Whoever's in that circle is going to be rooted. So he wants to get in, cast it, and be in the middle of as many people as he can, similar to Morgana, and then get the root to drop, and then ulti off of that.
I mean, compared to his oldie, way more utility focused. Just
Yeah, it's not even close.
plus the AP scaling is like the damage is non-existent on this ability.
Right.
It doesn't feel like a lot.
They take more damage from the second cast at the 80% AP ratio, but even then,
I mean,
like
compared to the oldie that topped off at 280 base with a 90% AP scaling.
yeah.
Yeah, that was again more utility based. It was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Because old Nunu just seemed obviously like a bit of support, and then I think they probably focused a little bit more onto that. I guess when we get to the R, how the damage changed, but
Oh, you know what's interesting too? I'm just reading the details on this. Is I didn't realize that each hit counts as a separate hit, and so you could trigger Conqueror or even Phase Rush with it. That's actually
So each
pretty.
three
Yeah,
snowballs is one stack.
each barrage is a stack,
Okay.
so you could cast it what 3 times or 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, each time you recast it counts as a stack. But that's pretty easy to proc Phase Rush. You go in, you hit them
Oh
with the
no,
giant
yeah.
snowball, and then you start throwing the little snowballs at them, and you got Phase Rush, and they're not running away from you.
All right,
Um,
absolute zero. Now this
which
is
is one of
like,
my favorite skill names, by the way. Absolute Zero, such a good name for an
yeah.
ability.
Aside from the consume, this is like
Yeah,
the Nunu,
the
like
Nunu special.
it's the Nunu and Willump special. Yeah. So
Hide in a bush, start casting. Everyone's
I
wondering why they're slowed,
hate that.
and then all
I
of a sudden you just
absolutely
get
hate.
chunked.
Like there's a snowstorm in this fucking the pixel brush in river. Oh
And
no, I don't know.
right, it's so funny.
I wish they would had. I mean,
He
I
needs
don't want to
something
talk
though.
about it
That
'cause it's
skill's
not
hard
fair.
to
I don't like
use.
that.
He needs something.
Only biggest difference is while he's channeling now, he gains a shield.
Oh
Again,
yeah, he didn't have that
old Nunu I'm
before.
looking at. I did not realize it reduced attack speed again.
Yeah, the cripple is really nice actually, but I think it compensates for the fact that he gets a shield now that he's not crippling, right?
Sure. Shield's not bad either.
No, it's not. It's a based off bonus health, 30, 40, or 50% bonus health. So if you're actually building tank, now shield sucks if you're building AP, but the damage is amazing at 150% AP ratio scaling for the first cast and 250% scaling for the second cast.
That
That's
thing is
why,
gonna fucking
yeah,
hurt compared to his old one. Let's see. His old one was a little more devastating, but
it
obviously you don't get a
was
shield.
right. It was a lot harder to use because now you can use it as like a kind of a save me ability. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, let me hit the shield so I don't die right here. But in the past it was you had to catch somebody with it, and now
Hmm.
you have more utility with it.
So how are we feeling? Do you think? Obviously, I mean,
New is far more exciting.
especially even looking at the splash art and the
Yeah,
skins.
yeah, way better.
Thank
Absolutely
God they
better.
kept Nunu Bot's laugh.
Right, dude. I was just about to say Nunu bot though. That was freaking classic. I love that one actually.
I'm very happy they kept that.
Yes,
I would have been
Microsoft
very
Sam.
upset.
But yeah, I don't think I have anything else for Nunu, dude.
I don't know. Before we get into this headache, though, we got to take a quick break.
Yes, we do.
All right, guys, this is gonna be the least fucking fun thing ever because Ryze. I haven't looked at his how many past versions. Let's see.
Oh, he's got
Alpha first and
3.
second, and then
Yeah.
his current is third, if you want to call it. Oh my
And
God.
he's got a bunch of different changes in between, and we're just not going to go through all those. There's just far too fucking many to go through with Ryze because this champion is legitimately broken in the fact that they don't know how to balance him correctly, and he's either completely underwhelming or totally overwhelming, and there's nothing you can do about it.
To be fair, I think current Ryze's abilities and gameplay style is definitely the best we've had.
Right.
I still think he was specifically designed for pro play because I believe this
Yeah.
champion has a horrible win rate in solo queue, but
Yep.
unbelievable like playmaking with this champion in pro.
And I think that's all off the back of his ult, the Realm Warp. I mean, if you don't know how to use that correctly, it doesn't do anything. Like, I don't play Ryze because I don't know how to use that skill very well, and it doesn't do anything for me. You know what I mean?
So for this, I think there's just so many. How about we start in alpha and make our way up to current?
Okay.
So what's his? Because there isn't that much in alpha.
Okay.
His old passive, he would gain bonus ability power based on missing health. Again, this is another like very simple.
That's like an Olaf
Desi-
passive.
Yeah, it's like it's back. I'm gonna say back in the day. Like this was like not more than 10 years ago. But I felt like they had a lot of champions had the same shit going on.
Yeah.
Just a little tweak. So he'd gain more AP. the more health he was missing.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. I mean, all his passive now, I think, is based on mana and all that shit. His old E was a toggle. That's interesting. Gain bonus mana and his basic attacks deal bonus. Are you telling me attack speed rise was a thing? On hit rise
That's hella gross.
gains bonus mana. I wonder how much it was.
I have no idea. I don't know if I want to know. It's pretty
I'm also
gross.
curious if it did it consume mana with weird. That's I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I would assume it would have to consume. It'd be like a mana immune, maybe.
Hmm.
Um, and then I think his Q, which is shock, I think it's the same, and I think Rune Prison was basically the same. There's no information on here, so I'd assume they're probably the same, just that it had different icons.
Did his old Q? Well, I guess we'll get to it, but obviously his Q now is a skill shot. I don't think it used
I think
to
it was
always
point
be a
and
skill
click.
shot.
Yeah, I think it was point and click. We'll see here on the. Oh no, it was
First.
called Overload. You know what? Shock might have been a skill shot because I forgot that the second version of the version when we started playing the game was a point and click, and that was Overload. And then it went back. It looks, I mean, just based on the icon, at least, it looks like it could have been a skill shot, but I don't really know.
All right, let's look at this first rendition
iteration.
of him.
Yeah.
Rendition. What the fuck?
I like that he keeps the Arcane Mastery and they reuse the icon from the first E.
Mm-hmm.
And it's simple. Upon using an ability, Ryze's other cooldowns are each reduced by 1.5 seconds. That was the face roll Ryze. That was the beginning of that meme, and that's where he still kind of sits. He's not quite as face roll of a champion as he used to be.
This is like
Katarina.
Ezreal. This is like Ezreal passive, except
Similar.
you don't even have to.
You don't have to.
It doesn't
land
even
anything.
say basic ability. So this counted for his ult too, which I don't remember what his ult was, but we'll get there in a second.
Yeah.
Weird. Another very so he get max this. You get 10% CDR. Okay. Unleashes a runic blast on a target. So this was a targeted ability on his Q.
Yep, and you go max CDR Ryze.
Scaled off mana. Mana was was there any other champions that like?
No, that was a Ryze special. The mana
Yeah.
scaling, that's definitely a Ryze special. And I think that's what makes him unique. So I'm glad they didn't get rid of that part. But yeah, there's really nothing to say about the first Overload. We'll hit down to Rune Prison, which roots your target for a short duration. Again, scales off AP and max mana.
Only difference is current Ryze is a little different of an interaction to get
Right.
them to be rooted.
Right.
But point and click. This guy was just point and click everywhere,
Everything.
dude.
And then the E, Spell Flux. And this one I actually always kind of liked because it had that MR shred on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's point and click, dealing magic damage and reducing their magic resistance. After striking the target, the orb bounces up to 5 times to Ryze and nearby enemies around the primary target, dealing the same damage as well as reducing their resistance. So one of the things we didn't mention about Ryze from the get-go is that he is a short-range mage.
Mm-hmm.
He is very short-range. So he does require kind of being up close and personal. And I forgot that this skill actually bounced back and forth. And I think that's where they took the idea for Brand's latest rendition of his ult. The fact that it can bounce off of him and onto other things. Yeah, if you could get in a 1v1 with somebody.
That does some fucking damage,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, had it bounce back and forth. You just shred their MR. At max level, it shred 24 MR per hit. And yeah, you could just
Single target damage capped out at 390 base plus 105 AP plus 3% max mana. That's fucking nuts.
yeah. Yep,
Yeah, you're gonna. This was so broken.
it was.
What was the cooldown? 14 seconds. All his abilities had, aside from his Q.
Well, yeah, because you had to cast them in order to get the cooldowns to drop, so they had to sort of self-counter it by creating long cooldowns, right?
Alright, let's look at
And then his ulti is still called Desperate Power. For the duration, Ryze gains bonus spell vamp, 80 bonus move speed, and his basic abilities deal half their damage to all nearby enemies around the primary target.
Right.
I forgot that he got bonus spell vamp on that.
That's pretty insane. This is like, I think when we get to the second rendition, maybe, but I remember this was like, oh, I'd hit R and then you just have so much fucking AoE. Like,
Yep. Yeah,
oh man, that was
it was fucking
gross.
stupid. And like I mentioned before, you want to be up close and personal, so you just drop that E and it bounces off everybody, just doing stupid AoE damage while you're hitting them with overload. It's just yeah, it's just gross.
Jesus, what
um,
fucking.
but I guess that brings us to the second rendition.
Do we have dates on when these came out? Does this.
You know what? You'd probably have to check the patch notes
Right.
area,
Eh.
but that's a lot of patch notes to scroll through because he's had so many changes over the years that I'm not going to do that.
Right. So let's see. Arcane Mastery. Ryze gains an Arcane Mastery stack for 6 seconds every time he uses an ability, stacking 5 times. At 5 stacks, Ryze becomes supercharged for his next 5 ability casts or 2.5 seconds, based on the Overlord's rank, which is Q.
Yep.
Shielding himself and causing his supercharged ability cast to reduce each of his cooldowns by overload. Okay, this is so fucking. You need a holy shit.
Is this
What
the
is this?
was this the one that you had to like consume the crystals or whatever?
No, that's his current one.
Oh, okay. Okay, so they kept okay. Yeah, this was weird. Is there details? No additional details. This is an on-cast effect with a self-targeted buff component. Applies when cast times end. But this was really the rendition of Face Roll Rise, where you just need to keep casting your abilities. Especially that Q. The more you could cast it, the more damage you could do. And the more times you could actually protect yourself, and you could actually just continue to skirmish. And considering the fact that he scales based off mana as well as AP, that tank Ryze was broken with this build or with this rendition.
Frozen Heart. Just
Yep.
8% of his max mana, guys. I mean, if he's sitting on 4,000 mana,
Yep.
that's like an extra. Let's see, 10% would be 400, so it would be like close to 400, 380. Like, it's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
When it says causing his supercharged ability cast to reduce each of his cooldowns by overload's amount, does that mean 4 seconds? Because overload's 4 seconds.
You know,
Amount.
I think so.
I'm trying to figure out what that means.
I think so. I think that's what that means. That's a great fucking question. I'm not gonna lie to you. Sorry, I just had a fly hit me right in the face. It scared the hell out of me. Sorry for all you that are watching the video. I think that's what that means. There's nothing in this details tab to really show, so it's hard to tell for sure. But I think that's a fair assumption.
This was the first rendition where his Q was a skill shot.
Yeah.
Okay, so same thing. Fires a runic blast in a target duration, dealing magic damage. The first person hit, except leveling it up. It increased the duration of the supercharged, the passive duration, up to 5 seconds.
Okay.
Fucking insane.
Right.
W, same thing. It's just a root, deals damage, so
Instant
still
root.
nothing.
Yep.
Let's see what now it did. Spell flux here, so it looks like it does the same thing, stacking 3 times. How much did it stack in the old one?
I think.
I'm looking on.
Okay.
I don't think it's stacked.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe it didn't.
Okay.
But this rendition of shred would shred by percentage instead of flat shred.
Right.
So it made him better into slightly tankier options compared to the typical mage options you expect to see. It's still bounced. Let's see. After striking the target, the orb splits and bounces to rise, and up to 6 nearby enemies are on the primary target, doing the same magic damage. The secondary orbs then bounce back to the primary target. It deals half the initial damage.
Guys, this dude had so much fucking... Like, you think he has wave clear now?
Yeah.
And then when we get to his ult now, like... Or his second rendition of his ult. Because this one...
Was gross, too.
So passively, again, I always is so lazy when they like, oh, passive, he gains CDR. Oh, 30 CDR was broken. That's a lot, just free.
Yeah, no,
But
that's
you know what?
that is broken
Actually,
though.
hold on, timeout. Back then, you could only have a max of 40 CDR.
Right. So you didn't have to build CDR items. That's why I think they did that because they wanted you to. Because people would just build max CDR Ryze and then go for full AP, but now it's just like, just go full AP. You have basically max CDR. Build your Frozen Heart, you have your extra 10%, you're good to rock and roll.
Yeah, before what? Well, okay. I don't remember it. That's weird. That was I never when I was if I played Rise back then, I didn't really think about that.
Right, I never really played Ryze. I mean, he was a little complicated. He's definitely not a beginner champion. You definitely have to play a lot of games on Ryze to really understand how he works and how to play him well.
I remember back when before ability haste, I was very don't want to say self-conscious. Like I did not like going over 40 CR. I hated wasting stats like
Oh
that.
yeah, look at the efficiency.
Yeah, I was like, oh fuck, I'm wasting whatever,
Right.
but thank God they changed ability haste.
Yeah,
And
way better system.
so
It's
see, active for 6 seconds, Rise gains bonus spell vamp, same. 80 movement speed, okay,
Yep.
same. And his basic abilities deal half their damage to all. Okay, so same thing, AoE.
And I think he carried that design all the way through Runes Reforged, right? I think he was able to use Phase Rush with that build.
I think so.
Or it may have been, it may not have been through Runes Reforged. It may have been, what was, before it was Phase Rush, when they had Thunderlord's Decree and Fervor.
Oh, it was Storm
Storm
Call or
Stormbreakers?
Storm Old Rune Storm.
Yeah, Storm.
Was it Stormwind? Hold on.
Something like that. Same. It's the same thing. Phase Rush is what they changed it to.
Keep talking. I want to look this up.
Yeah. He was either in. He might have been that form during that cycle of runes right before Runes Reforged came out, but that was actually just a fun set of runes. Anyways, that was back when you would take Leona with Fervor, just to get the extra hits off or whatever, because she could auto attack faster with her stun. Thunderlord's Decree, which became Electrocute. Although I think Electrocute is a much lamer name. Like a lot of those carried over, because I think also the Fervor became oh god, what's the auto attack one? Lethal Tempo. And Lethal Tempo sounds cooler, but like Electrocute sounds way less cool than Thunderlord's Decree.
Storm Raider's Surge.
Storm Raider's Surge. That's right.
It was dealing 30%
Yep.
of the champion's max health within 2.5 seconds, grants you 35 movement speed and 75% slow resistance for 3 seconds. 10-second cooldown. I remember, side note, I take this shit on Nasus.
Yeah.
1Q would just pop, and then you
Pop
just
and just
zoom.
run them down. It's like having Ghost for free. Yeah, that was a broken rune if you had it on the right champions.
So, I mean, you're looking at these three previous, Alpha, first, and second. Then they were like, all right, we need to do something different.
Yeah, because that wasn't working. They were having a really hard time with that. Now we have our current version, which many of these skill names remain the same. Actually, I think they all remain the same except for the ulti. So the Arcane Mastery. The new passive is that Ryze gains 10% per 100 AP maximum mana. So at 100 AP, he gains 10% max mana. At 200 AP, he gains 20% max mana, and so on and so forth.
Now, this is where it gets tricky and very confusing to play this champion.
Yeah.
Because you need to learn how to use his, what are they called runes? Yeah, the rune charges and the rune. Yeah, okay, so
they're after my scroll, dude.
So let's see this, because I know this is probably, I don't want to read all this because this is boring as shit. But Ryze's W and E reset his Q cooldown.
Yep.
Let's figure that out. Using your W and E grants a rune.
Yes.
For 4 seconds, max 2. So if E W, you have 2 charges, and then when you Q, it consumes those charges, and it gives him movement speed.
Yeah, at one point, didn't it give him a shield? I think they'd
Yes.
change it, but yeah, I remember that part.
That was too OP because
Yeah, it
it
was
would give him way
stupid.
too much movement speed.
Yeah,
and a
and a
shield. It was
shield.
safe. So just phase rush is so good on this dude because
You
the
just run him
movement
down.
speed. Yeah, you can't catch him. Like max rank with your Q, it's 44% bonus movement speed, and then phase rush, whatever that is,
Yeah,
you're zooming, man.
yeah. And, you know, there's kind of a reason that phase rush is purple and blue. Just throwing that out there.
It's all for Ryze.
It's almost like they're telling you, put this on Ryze.
And of course, it's a skill shot. So that's the quick gist of it.
It's a skill shot. I would say my favorite part about the Q is the way it interacts with the E. We'll get there. But
Right. Yeah, I
that's
guess
like
we
my
could just
favorite piece.
we could jump to the E because the E is the thing that interacts
Okay.
his other abilities. So
That's fair.
his E is the same thing. It throws the first if you cast it on. Let's see how to experience. So you'll throw it on one target,
Yep.
and then depending on the next ability you used on that marked target, the E, your W, or your Q will have a different effect.
Right.
If you E twice, that's when it gets kind of like the
Spreads.
old spell
Yep.
flux where it spreads. So it's they brought that back, and I like that.
I actually do like that. It's kind of a fun little like mini game to play in game, right? And when Dean was talking about the wave clear, it has to do with this skill and his Q.
Right.
So yeah, go ahead and
Yeah, I mean the Q. So you'll have to E once and then E again to spread that E to all the targets, and then your Q will consume all those and bounce to all nearby targets that are affected with that E. So it's 2
Yep.
E's and then a Q.
yep.
It does a lot of damage. It does, and then slightly looking into his ult, as you rank up your ult, the spell flux interaction with Overlord damage gets increased
Yep.
to a max of 100% extra damage.
Yeah,
At-
and
at
it's
rank
weird
16.
because a lot of people they level up the alt once and then they skip it for a while and level up everything else and then level up the alt again later. Like, because I think the difference between alt 2 and alt 1 is negligible. But the difference between alt 1 and alt 3 is massive, you know. Yeah, it's just the mini game factor of the spell flux I find enjoyable, and it actively bothers me when people try to interrupt my farming while I'm trying to use it.
It's just and of course the rune prison is mostly the same. Using it basic will just slow the target, but
Yep.
if you use it on a target that's affected by the spell flux, it will root them then.
Yep. And I like that because since it's a point and click route, I think it's fair to like make it a little bit more difficult to use. If that makes sense.
So as we said, the W and the E reset. So if you're gonna play Ryze, you can, and if you don't want to, you could play the game of W E and then Q to get the movement speed, but you could realistically Q W Q E Q, and by that time, one of your other abilities could be back up, and you literally just sit there and face roll.
Yep.
So they kind of kept that in there. They don't have the, the AOE is kind of with the EQ, but like it's not fully like you have to be affected by it. But
Yep.
it's really gross.
It is.
And I'm terrible at this fucking champion.
Same.
And his ult, yeah, we'll get to his ult because this is a very unique ability, and you can. It's kind of like I guess I compare it to Bard ult because you can troll your team pretty hard with this,
Right.
or you could be a fucking game changer and make an insane play.
One of the things I like about it is that you can actually move minions.
That is OP. That's some shit that you see in pro play.
That's
'cause
like
people don't think about that.
that's some like super mega mind move, right? Like I could take all these minions and put them over there and it literally affect how the wave moves, you know what I mean? Or you can I guess technically take minions around. I'm reading here you can actually teleport Rift Herald, and if that's not the
If it's
most broken
summoned?
thing, if Realm Warp will still teleport an allied Rift Herald that is winding up its leap.
Weird.
That is actually insane. But
I
the
don't think I've
craziest
ever seen
thing
that.
that's cool with this is if you're crowd controlled by any sort of stun or
Root,
untargetable
silence,
stasis or
disarm.
anything like that. Although I think Ryze can, he can't. No, he can't even put himself. He used to be able to put himself in stasis and
That
leave.
shit. I was gonna
That
say
was
that. That
broken.
was fucking OP.
He no longer can do that. So yeah, if you're affected by crowd control, that keeps you in place. You're not going anywhere with the Realm Warp. And I actually like that. I think it's a good counterplay because oftentimes Ryze will use it to get the hell out of dodge.
Right.
And so if you can just hit him with a stun or a root or something like that, or even like Cass or Singe can ground him, he ain't going nowhere.
I did like it was broken, but I loved seeing the fucking Golden Rise just teleport out. It
Yeah,
was cool to see him pro play.
it was cool, but yeah, it was stupid because he had a free get out of jail, basic get out of jail free card right there. You know what I mean? It was pretty broken, but I don't think I have much else to say about Ryze. There's just so much that it's almost overwhelming.
What's your favorite Rise skin?
Uncle Ryze.
Okay, I was gonna say yeah, it's Uncle Rise or Zombie Rise. I like Zombie Rise.
I do like Young Ryze, but not enough people have it. You don't see it enough. But Uncle Ryze, it's just watching him be Uncle Sam and run around the map is just so comical to me.
When he ults, it has like
Yeah.
the fucking eagle sound.
Yeah, it's good. It's really well made. I also do like the one that recently came out, the Arcana Rise. I think that looks cool, but I like that skin line in general.
Right.
And where is it? Oh, Rise Greybeard's fun too. But I like
Right.
that. That's the D&D line. I like that line in general. But yeah, I don't know. Are you guys Rise players? If you
How
are,
about
can you
how
teach me
about
how to
for
be
a
better?
poll? Do you guys think Rise is gonna receive another rework in the future? Yes
Yeah.
or no?
Where's the magic 8 ball? All sides point to yes.
Oh my god. So that could be our poll. Any ideas for a question?
Um. Wow, that's a tough one because I feel like these two champions are so drastically different from their original um play style, and I
Right.
mean they fit the same role, but their play style is slightly different, and like what their abilities do is definitely different. Um, I don't know. I don't have a good question this week, and usually I come up with a good one off the cuff, but I got nothing.
We still haven't gotten any voice
Yeah,
submissions yet, but this week's question, why don't you guys just write in and ask us something?
yeah, I like that.
No,
Open
we won't
ended.
have a question, but you guys can ask us a question. It can pertain to Rise or Nunu or whatever. If you guys,
They can be
I
unrelated to
really
this episode if you want.
right. I really want to hear a voice submission though, but no pressure.
No
So yeah,
pressure,
go
guys.
ahead and ask us whatever. And guys, it's always we're on Spotify. We actually have a 5-star rating with a couple. I have 12 reviews. That's fucking amazing. And if you guys are enjoying it, it would really help us out. I know it's very generic to say, but
The
the
ratings
more
help.
ratings we get, the more we're gonna show up on other people's.
Yeah.
If someone searches, we were talking to, was it Zap, that said he just was searching up
Oh yeah.
League podcast, and he found us.
Yep. Yep. And
So
now he
share
plays
with your
with
friends,
us
guys.
and subscribes.
We're not good, and we know that. That's literally what our title
Right.
of our thing is. But we try to have some fun, friendly, simple talks about the game. And if you got friends that are trying to get into League or casually play League, we'd love to have them hang out and check us out.
Yeah. Absolutely. So if you can, say hello to your friends. Show us when you talk to them next, if they're league players. Check out that voice submission on Anchor. I think that's a fun feature, and I've seen it used in other podcasts, and I'm like just waiting for the day that someone uses it on ours, because I like the reaction to
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Like, I know the dive, they use it a lot. And it's just a fun little extra piece, but no pressure, guys. If you guys are nervous, you don't have to, but I think it'd be fun, a little fun extra wrinkle to add to the show.
Yeah, make sure you hit that link tree. You guys come get in our Discord, because
Yes, it's getting bigger.
There are people that are wanting to play Clash. So if you guys are wanting to play Clash, we got a bunch of friendly people that
Or even Wild Rift.
Sure,
There's
yeah,
people
we got
that are
some
playing
Wild Rift.
all game modes of League in our Discord, and yeah, seriously, come jump in, hang out. It's been popping this last week, so I mean, there was the point I was like, wow, there's a lot of notifications. I thought I was being driven crazy, and then D was like, well, it's Discord, and that's, you want people in there. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. I just keep seeing the notification pop up, and I'm like, oh, I gotta mark it as red. But I like to see that people are in there. So for those of you that are using it, thank you. For those of you who are looking for a community to play with, we're accepting people.
Thinking I might stream this weekend on Saturday. I know the pro games are going on, but might sneak in some games and play
Yeah.
some shit on stream. So come hang out. Guys, that's gonna do it.
Yep.
Happy Friday! Thank God it's Friday, and next week we got the next patch, and it looks like it's gonna be a big one. So stay tuned.
Happy Friday, y'all.